Welcome to this week's garden video. The kettle has just boiled. Go pop your kettle. I'm so excited to get out into the garden. I'm going to insert footage of what the weather has been like this week. So it is currently, you can't make out the time on my screen, but it's 2 p.m, 1:58, and it's so dark. I don't know if you can make it out. It always looks brighter on the camera screen, but if we wait a minute, we might see the thunder. Lots of thunder. Lightning. Not that it's rare for us, but I mean, we'd get storms, but I was like, oof, that was a fresh one. Also, check out my new mug. Now I'm after chipping his ear. Look, I got this in the Arboretum Garden Centre because I was down with them during the week because I am going to be doing some Christmas content with them on Instagram, and I saw this guy and I was like, how cute. I was chatting to one of the girls who, she's like the buyer of product, and I was like, well, she does lots of other things, she's not just that, but I was like, you get to buy product, and I was like, for the shop, and I was like, that's like a dream job. I'm sure it comes with it's not so fun parts, but she's like, yeah, I saw these mugs and I bought them in for the shop, and she's like, I bought them for myself. There was a little that was the last one I got off the fox, but there was an owl, I think. The lid goes on top and it keeps your tea warm. Genius. Got that free Geum. Do you know what's so funny? I was voice noting Karen, and she said every time you say Geum, I think you're saying gym in a southern like accent, like Geum, because we share the same accountant and his name is Jim. She's like, I keep hearing Jim in a southern accent. So anyway, I'm full of waffles this morning. I think I'm just too excited to get in. So I got that free Geum from my neighbour with the pinky tip and or pinky flower. I'll show you. I have it outside. So he gave me a clump. He gave me 2 other plants as well. And he said with the Geum, there's still loads of clay on the base of it. He says, get a spade, chop it in the middle. You'll get 2 plants out of that. And I was like, you normally chop it for me. He's like, no girl, you can do it. Spade in the middle, down the centre. You got this. So I am going to give it a bash. I might do the same with one of my geraniums because I have a couple. I might lift it up, divide it, and stick them back in too. So I've never done this before, but my neighbour always does it. And any of the plants he gives me from when he chops them up, they always thrive. And also this time of year, hang on, I get me banya. I always find planting like perennials in autumn for next year, they do better. So it's like this time of year the soil is still warm and there's loads more rain, so it's like it gets the water it needs, the roots kind of settle. I've no scientific horticultural knowledge like to prove this fact, but any plants that I put down in autumn and then they sleep over winter, they do much better the following year. So fun time in the garden. Also, I know, I still have loads of bulbs to plant. Haven't planted one bulb, but that's going to change today because I think I can spend the whole day in the garden. It's 11 o'clock now. My niece and nephew are coming for a sleepover, but that won't be till about 5, so I can get all of my jobs done. And the leaves are back. Oh sure, look at this. How cute. I am not able for this. I need to get someone to make me a blondie mug. How cute would that be with a lid? Okay, let me show you my plant. So here's my plant loot. So this is the Geum. I do sound like Texas Jim, don't I? Say so see what I mean? It's got this lovely, like, I hope my camera will zoom on this. Let's get a better look at this. So it has like a pinky hue, but it's kind of like an earthy color, and I think it will look nice because I have an orange one of these. So this is what he gave me. Now it's been out of the soil a couple of days, but he gave me, like, it still has a lot of, like, I don't know, clay, muck on the roof. So he said just take a spade, and he's like, you'll get 2 plants out of that. Now that looks like a big clump. I don't want to get greedy and chop it 3 times, but I reckon I could maybe get 3 plants. Like, there's a flower on that there, but think I'll cut it twice, like just down the middle, 2 nice big plants. And then he gave me these lads. Oh, actually he gave me a couple of these. So I don't know the names of this one. Actually, maybe you guys can help me in the comment section. But there's the base of them, and then they have these pokers. Now I absolutely love this plant because it reminds me of my dad, because he had one of these. I wonder if it's still there, but I remember as a kid there was one of these in our garden, and my dad was a great gardener, but he was into like loads of shrubs, whereas I'm the complete opposite. I'm into the flowers, and this was like probably one of the only flowers I remember. Like he never had a geranium or anything like that in the garden. It was always like shrubs and architecture, and he loved topiary, is that the word? So this is my plant loot. So I got this faux free and this one, which I'm going to divide up. And so what I was thinking was, my favourite geranium has been these guys. And I planted 4 geraniums in here back in spring. The pink one, a whitey looking one, which I think is this, the pink one, and then this one. And there's definitely 2 different ones, so that's, I don't know which variety this is, but I remember buying it because it had a white flower, but it never flowered. But I planted it in spring, and I feel like it's only looking good now. So this guy, I have some of this guy out the front, so I might take the one that's out the front because it's been in the bed for 2 years. Like this is its 2nd year, the one that's out the front, and I'll divide that. So I might make more of this, because this plant, like it's October, it's coming towards the end of October, and this is still flowering, and I flowered all through the season. So big fan of this geranium. And what else? Actually, my neighbour gave me this last year, and I think it's just in the wrong place, because I think it's maybe too wet in here, or there was loads of lupins. Oh, what are they? What are you, my friend? There's loads of lupins in here, and I think the lupins block the light from this, but this is like one of these, it like flowers pink, so it's growing. But yeah, my neighbour gave me that one last year, but I think it's just in the wrong place. What else? Actually, my lupins I got for free. My friend's dad gave me them, so they'll come back next year. This is the Rebecca Karen gave me. God, I'm such a free plant hoe. Karen gave me this Rebecca. She grew it from seed. It has been the nicest. Like I have Rebecca in the front. Didn't do it. I think it's in the wrong place as well. But this has just been flowering. I had to stake it up because it was flopping over. But well done, Karen. We love this. She also gave me another plant, but I think it died back. It was that oh, what's it called? Not pom-pom. Oh, I don't know, but you might have seen it in previous videos. But yeah, that's kind of how we're looking this week. Similar to last week, the dahlias are still doing well, and they're looking good in the sunshine. So they're giving me joy, and it's kind of been mild this week. Oh, these are starting to come back as well. Little bit of colour, and I have some heads on the zinnias. So October is actually quite a good month in the garden. I thought everything would kind of just be like proper dead, but still a lot in flower. Like October, you are a golden month in the garden, and the sun hits different as well. So I'm really loving this time. Like look at that one. Like that's just so nice. And there's still loads of bees actually. I don't know if you can see them. And then this fine specimen is Blondie on the wheelie bin. Blondie loves a wheelie bin in the sun because it like traps the heat. And she loves a little autumnal sunbathe. And she's not been happy this week because of the weather. She doesn't like when it's raining because she's allowed outside, but she doesn't go outside when it's raining. So she's in her element today. I also want to give plants. So you'll notice in that last 2 minutes I was like, and I got this plant from this person and I got this plant from that person. But I want to, hang on, I'm just gonna rest my camera on. I am like, oh, Karen gave me that plant, oh, my neighbour gave me that plant. I want someone to be like, oh, Catherine gave me that plant. So what I might do is, if I do get some of that geranium divided, I did ask my neighbour is there any plants he wanted. He did pull up, I have this thing, I think it's from the Rebecca family. It's really tall with yellow tips, but it doesn't look like a Rebecca. He actually gave it to me about 7 or 8 years ago. And he's like, oh, I want to slip it at, because he was giving it to some lad in who's like, runs gardens. And he literally just pulled up a bit of the root and off he went. And I'm like, I just don't have the confidence when it comes to doing that. So I did offer my neighbour, is there any plants you want to take? And he just took that one. But yeah, I think I might, if I can get some of my geraniums going, I might give them to my pals. My pal Rachel loves her garden. Karen, I think, already has some, but I will message her, see if she wants them. It is, you can probably tell by my fluffy jumper that the temperature is a bit cooler. I reckon I'll be sweating in a few minutes. But the temperature, there was one morning where it was super cold. It was like 5 degrees. It was like 6:30 and I noticed it was 5 degrees. I felt the cold that morning. But then during the day, it's still a bit mild. So perfect for planting. So enough waffling, let's get some action. So you could tell I was a bit greedy there. I did three plants. Like I still have, there's still a root system there. I went for 3 small ones. I don't know, I hope I didn't get too greedy there. But if they all live, I will be so happy. So I'm gonna put these in the front to fill some gaps. So let's get them into the ground. And I think there's some rain. I'll give them a water in. But I do think there's some rain for the next few days. I think today was like the only sunny day and then it's like to rain again. But yeah, I went greedy and I did 3 geums. I know it don't look like much now, but I'm after easily getting about 10 free plants. So this clump of geranium, whatever way I divided it, it just came apart in like 5. Now, it would be amazing if all 5 survived, so I put 2 here, and then I have loads of gaps here, so I popped 1 here. There's another tiny clump there, so just they can hopefully grow a bit full. I divided this, I think it's an Alcia, apple something, I think it was the variety. Divided it in half, had to use the bread knife, and I have it down the end, so there'll be like a bit of a repeat. Geum, geranium Janet, popped her in there to fill a gap. Let me see, I'm trying to make it as full as I can. And then another Geum. So in here I did Geum, geranium, and there's another plonk of geranium there, so I don't know if these ones are gonna take, but we'll see. Then I have, that's my own Geum that I bought around August. Nice size. I'm not going to divide it, maybe next year I will. I'll just let it get established a bit more. Geum. There's the other bit of Alcia that I popped in for height, and I put the 2 poker lads in there for a bit of height as well. Something I'm also going to do for height is the alliums. So I remember saying that this variety of allium, so I've got 50 in this bag. I don't think I need 50. I'm a little bulb planter. I caved and I bought one. It was €7, $7.95. Not too bad. And then you can do this. Hang on. And it shakes the soil back in. So this variety of allium, got a dirt down hands. This variety of allium, the bees absolutely loved it, and it flowered for ages, and it looked really nice as a dried flower. So I can see where all the plants pretty much are, so I can plant the alliums around them for a bit of height and interest, and the bees went mad for them. So if you're looking for something that looks pretty and the bees like, that is the variety there. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. Guess who forgot to charge her leaf blower? Me. And guess who still hasn't bought a new yard brush? This decomposes as the years go on. Maybe for Christmas I'll buy myself one. So I'm on the manual today, the manual sweep, because I didn't charge me leaf blower. Technology is great if you remember to plug it in. Look at the muck on my face. I've washed my hands though. It's actually 3:30 now. 20 to 4. My niece and nephew are coming around at 4. So I've just down my tills, got a quick cut of the grass that you see in there, and I'm just having a cup of tea and just sitting for a minute. The big jumper is back on. there is something magic next year when I'm like, oh, October, remind me about how much fun October was this year, because like I said in last week's video, I just had this assumption that everything will just die and leaves will be on the ground overnight, and I'm like, no, it hasn't been like that at all. It's been a lovely, do you know what, October reminds me of March. Some nice sunshine, kind of warm days, and the sunlight hits different, doesn't it? That autumn sunlight. And also this week I was struggling because I'm not a fan of the dark days, and I've said this before, definitely have some undiagnosed seasonal affective disorder. I actually ordered one of those lamps yesterday, because so yesterday I got up at 6, we went to yoga class, and I came back, got my coffee, and I was working from home, and I came in the door and I was like, I could get back into bed. It was literally one of those days where really grey, heavy cloud, felt like it didn't like get bright at all, and I felt really sluggish and tired. And I'm like, ding, today I woke up, the sun is shining. I don't want to be a slave to, you know, the weather, because I'm not every day in winter it'll be sunny, but the medicinal effect of a day in the garden, because I feel totally fine today. So I think on those days where it's really grey over the next couple of weeks going into winter, I'm just going to remember that there does be sunny days like this, and I just have to, whenever I get a day like this, just get out into the garden and soak it up, and yeah, get my vitamin G, vitamin gardening, vitamin G. So yeah, if you are struggling with the kind of, I know it's different in different locations, because some of you guys who tune in, well, some of you are in Australia and going into spring and summertime, which is deadly, and then some of you guys get lots of snow, and I have a longer growing season, and just because Ireland is, I know Irish people give out about the weather, but it's actually a deadly little island for gardening. We don't get a lot of snow, if any, lasts a few minutes, if we get it at all, up the mountains like, and but a lot of you guys get snow from like mid-October until March, April, so your growing season is smaller. So I don't have any advice for you guys other than I have sympathy for you if it's dark, and I'd say if the winter feels longer when you have that. I am really excited, I'm hopeful, and also because I haven't been in love with that side border this year. You've kind of seen me struggle with it during summer. I planted some new stuff and it lacked some autumn stuff. So by putting those plants in it today, I was feeling real excited, and planting the alliums and the bulbs and just dividing plants. Now I'll have some repetition in that border, so there'll be some repetition and a bit of height then as well. So I feel buzzing. I'm like, hopefully they take. I gave them a water in, and there is some rain due tomorrow, and I think the next week is to be unsettled, so I gave them a good watering, and I'm feeling real hopeful. I'm like, next year that's going to be full and luscious, and hopefully a bit more ground cover, less gappy, bit of height. So anyway, here's hoping. If you are splitting and dividing any plants, please share any recommendations down below. I just copied what my neighbour did, but there may be more maybe better techniques that people have, so you can share them below with the community and people can read and get inspiration on what kind of works for you. And also, if you are commenting, let me know your growing zone or your kind of region. I had to Google my growing zone. I think I'm like 8 or 9, 8.5, 8A, B, I don't know. I think it was 8 or 9. Basically, not too hot of a summer and a mildish winter. So that's why I can garden late in the season. It's great. Anyway, that's the chats. I need to get the muck off my face, sort myself out. But a fun day I had in the garden. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, check out the other Sunday garden videos. Thursday's videos is more of a home one. And yeah, hit the subscribe button. See you in the next one.